We are finishing up Merging with Śiva, Chapter 41, Spinning Wheels of Consciousness. Continuing with Lesson 285 on Divine Sight and Illumination. Once this pure state is stabilized, awareness itself dissolves and only the self remains. This experience is described in many ways as the death of the ego, as the awareness leaving the mind form through the door of Brahman, the Brahmarandhra at the top of the head, and as the inexplicable merger of the Atman or soul with Shiva or God. From another perspective, it is the merger of the forces of the pituitary with the forces of the pineal. Great inner striving, great sadhana and tapas, first activate the pituitary gland, the small master gland found near the hypothalamus, which regulates many human functions, including growth, sexuality, and endocrine secretions. It is inwardly seen as a small white light and referred to as the pearl of great price. When the pituitary is fully activated, it begins to stimulate the pineal gland, situated at the root of the thalamic region of the brain and influencing maturation of consciousness expansion. The pineal is inwardly viewed as a beautiful blue sapphire. For man to attain his final realization, the forces of these two glands have to merge. Symbolically, this is the completion of the circle, the serpent devouring its own tail. For those who have attained this process, it can be observed quite closely through the faculty of divine sight. Or just a comment on that there. Gurudeva's opening sentence there, once this pure state is stabilized, awareness itself dissolves and only the self remains. That's basically the way it's structured in the Shum language. We learn what awareness is, kaif. We learn to sustain awareness, yi-kaif, and then we learn to dissolve awareness, im-kaif. So it's a very simple way of looking at self-realization. We need to master experiencing kaif, and then we need to learn how to dissolve it, make it go away for a very short period of time. Then we get the Shum series here for Sarasvara Chakra. It's a long one, so I'll read all of them so we don't lose continuity. Sara, Isara, Di Isara, Kadi Isara, Makadi Isara, Kamakadi Isara. Okay, Sara, second dimension. Flower, lotus flower. Physical or astral, such as a chakra, the lotus flower has within it the mystery that holds the mind in attention to its beauty. That's nicely said. The mystery that holds the mind in attention to its beauty. Whether a bud or a bloom, the lotus is beautiful. It instantly represents to the mind life, the path of attainment, and new beginnings. Isara. To bloom or open as a flower, physical or astral, such as a chakra lotus, bloom or grow in the astral plane, spiritual desire, readiness, and aspiration for growth or unfoldment on the path. This area of the mind depicts growing, flowering, blooming. The bloom of a flower or a soul's growth into enlightenment is something to behold. It is a rare happening during a lifetime and only happens when the karmas are balanced and the inner sound is listened to daily with rapt attention. Kadavul, Yoga of the Three Rivers. Triganga, merging and filling the body, Sat-Chit Ananda experience. These are the tremendous roots of the lotus of the brilliant lights. Opening the door to knowledge by entering the cool lake of wisdom, wherein one is free from intellect and motion of the mind. This calm lake, Sadhavana Bhava, is the passageway into the Akasha. When the bloom of all four chakras is brightly shining, and the roots speak their wisdom, the mystery of the fifth chakra is ready to unfold. Seek out the Guru and happily open yourself to the timely wisdom of the realm forbidden to those who, while budding, have not yet bloomed. Kadavul. This is in the morning meditation of the monks at this time of year. Tantra of knowing the quantum river from the 14th dimension into the body. Knowledge of an area at the quantum level of consciousness where all form begins, the first river, the Kauai. Kadavul is found within you, above the top of the head. Here begins the flow of Amrita, the flow of cosmic energy, the flow of quantum particles of many colors. We use 18 of these colors in the two sadhanas called Lamf Nyam, Lam Nyam, releasing the energies of actinic force from as far above as your arms and hands can reach above the head with elbows straight. Slowly begins the flow of the second river, Mavumna. 2 more to go. Kadavul. Experience of the Kundalini lotus stem and the golden soul body. This nadi extends to the top of the head from its connection to the spiritual heart center, Hridaya on the right side, lies within the causal body, called Amrita Nadi or Atma Nadi in Sanskrit. It is separate from the Sushumna. The stem and bud of the Sarasvara chakra, now matured and ready to unfold, destroy by fire, burn, consume negative vasanas. The stem and bud of cool fire of the lotus of the crown chakra, with 1,000 petals, hold the secrets of divine sight within the deep inner mind of constant intuition. And finally, the last one, Kadavul. The seventh chakra, named Sarasvara in Sanskrit, attribute illumination, located at the crown of the head, in the area of the mind of the Sarasvara chakra in full bloom, a radiant display of lights of various pastel colors is seen. It is mystically seen extending above the head as a 1,000-petaled lotus made of quantums of light particles. The center of divine actinic force holds the intelligence of the inner and outer bodies. Its center holds the secrets of divine sight, the door to the universe. Color, gold, planet, Neptune, element, sense, shunya, void, petals 1008. Congratulations, we got through that. That's quite a study, a wonderful study there, that particular series of the lotus and blossoming. Lesson 286, the unfoldment of humanity. This is the story of man's evolution through the mind, from the gross to the refined, from darkness into light, from a consciousness of death to immortality. He follows a natural pattern that is built right in the nerve system itself. Memory, reason, will, direct cognition, inner light perceptions of the soul, which awaken a universal love of all mankind, psychic perceptions through divine sight, and the heavenly refinement of being in the 1,000-petaled lotus. During each age throughout history, one or another of the planets or chakras has come into power. Remember when the Greek god Cronus was in supreme power? He is a god of time. Mass consciousness came into memory, or the mūlādhāra chakra, with its newfound concern for time, for a past and a future, dates and records. Next, the mass consciousness came into the svādhishṭhāna and its powers of reason. Reason was a god in the golden age of Greece. Discourse, debate, and logic all became instruments of power and influence. If it wasn't reasonable, it wasn't true. Next, the chakra of will came into power. Man conquered nations, waged wars, developed efficient weapons. Crusades were fought and kingdoms established during the period. Our world was experiencing force over force. Direct cognition, the anāhata chakra, came into power when man opened the doors of science within his own mind. He cognized the laws of the physical universe, mathematics, physics, chemistry, astronomy, and biology. Then he unfolded the mind sciences by penetrating into his subconscious mind, into the chakras where he had previously been. With man's looking into his own mind, psychology, metaphysics, and the mind religions were born. Now in our present time, the mass consciousness is coming into Vishuddha, forces of universal love. The forerunners of this emerging Satyuga, popularly called the New Age, are not worshipping reason as the great thing of the mind, or trying to take over another's possessions through the use of force. They are not worshipping science or psychology or the mind religions as the great panacea. They are looking inward and worshipping the light, the divinity within their own body, within their own spine, within their own head, and they are going in and in and in, into a deep spiritual quest which is based on direct experience, on compassion for all things in creation. As the forces of the Vishuddha chakra come into prominence in the New Age, does not mean that the other centers of consciousness have stopped working. But it does mean that this new one coming into prominence is claiming the energy within the mass consciousness. When this center of divine love gains a little more power, everything will come into an exquisite balance. There will be a natural hierarchy of people based on the awakening of their soul, just as previous ages established hierarchies founded on power or intellectual acumen. With that, one needed balance. Everything on the earth will quiet down, because the Vishuddha chakra is of the new age of universal love, in which everyone sees eye to eye, and if they do not, there will always be someone there to be the peacemaker. Look back through history and you will see how these planetary influences, these great mind strata of thought, have molded the development of human society. And lesson 287, chakra cycles in each lifetime. The same cyclical pattern of development in human history is evident even more clearly in the growth of the individual. In the 7 cycles of a man's life, beginning at the time of his birth, his awareness automatically flows through one of these chakras and then the next one. Then the next and then the next, provided he lives a pure life following Sanātana Dharma under the guidance of a Satguru. In reality, most people never make it into the higher 4 chakras, but instead regress back time and again into the chakras of reason, instinctive will, memory, anger, fear, and jealousy. Nevertheless, the natural ideal pattern is as follows. From 1 to 7 years of age, man is in the mūlādhāra chakra. He is learning the basics of movement, language, and society. absorbing it all into an active memory. The patterns of his subconscious are established primarily in these early years. From 7 to 14, he is in the svādhishṭhāna chakra. He reasons, questions, and asks, why? He wants to know how things work. He refines his ability to think for himself. Between 14 and 21, he comes into his willpower. He does not want to be told what to do by anyone. His personality gets strong. His likes and dislikes solidify. He is on his way now, an individual answerable to no one. Generally, about this time, he wants to run away from home and express himself. From 21 to 28, he begins assuming responsibilities and gaining a new perspective of himself and the world. Theoretically, he should be an anāhata, the chakra of cognition, but a lot of people never make it. They are still in the bull in the china shop consciousness, crashing their way through the world in the expression of will, asking why, reasoning things out, and recording it in memory patterns, which they go over year after year after year. But if awareness is mature and full, having incarnated many, many times, he goes on at 21 to 28 into the anāhata chakra. Here he begins to understand what it's all about. He comprehends his fellow men, their relationships, the world about him. He seeks inwardly for more profound insight. The chakra is stabilized and smoothly spinning once he has raised his family, performed his social duty, and, though he may yet continue in business, he would find the energies withdrawing naturally into his chest. It is only the renunciate, the matavasi, the sannyasin, who from 28 to 35 or before, depending on the strictness of his Satguru, comes into the Vishuddha chakra, into inner light experiences, assuming a spiritual responsibility for himself and for others. This awakening soul appreciates people, loves them. His heart and mind broadly encompass all of humanity. He is less interested in what people do and more in what they are. It is here that, having withdrawn from the world begins to renounce him. Then, from 35 to 42 or before, he perfects his sadhanas and lives in the ajna chakra, experiencing the body of the soul, that body of light, awareness traveling within naturally at that time, withdrawing from mundane affairs of the conscious mind. From 42 through 49, he is getting established in the Sahasrara chakra in a very natural way, having met all of the responsibilities through life. This is the exacting path a devotee would follow under the training of a Satguru. Ideally and traditionally, the young man should come under the training of a guru at about 14 years of age, when he is just coming into the Manipura area of will. At this point, the will is malleable and can be directed into the channels of the inner climb, rather than directed toward the outer world, though he may work or study in the outer world too. But his motivation is inner. Carefully guided, awareness flows through each of these four centers, and at 50 years of age, he is fully trained and mentally prepared to take on intense spiritual responsibilities of his sampradaya and soar even more deeply inward in a very, very natural way. And we got through that chapter. I remember Gurudeva saying many times, he said, the Hindu community does not take a Swami seriously until he's age 50. So that explains why. And there's a certain maturity that only exists at age 50. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.